Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site in Times Square, New York City, we have Bjorn Sibbern. He's the president of European markets over at Nasdaq. We're going to take a look at improving Nasdaq operations and how we are moving along globally. Bjorn, it's great to have you back with us at Market Site. Now, you've been running Nasdaq's European markets for 6 months now. What are some of your initial reflections, and what are some of the actions you have taken?
So first of all, our European market is a great business. We have a strong team. So for me, it's all about figuring out what is the new strategy. We have launched the new strategy. We are ready to execute on the new strategy. So that has been priority number one for us. But also looking at the teams, what skills, competence do we have, and do we have the right setup to execute, not only in the Nordics, but one of our key focus areas is Europe. So can we find ways to grow into Europe from a Nordic point of view? That will be some of our key focus areas.
All right, let's talk about some of those initiatives, because mostly it's been focused on the Nordics and the Baltics. Now you really want to make this a truly European offering. What are some of those initiatives?
Yeah, so we have a very, very strong position in the Nordics. We have built a fantastic setup with our customers in the Nordics. But for us to grow in the future, we need to find areas. It will not be in all areas we want to grow into Europe, but in specific targeted area where we feel we have strong skills, competence, and where we can add customer value. We'll try to grow into Europe. That could be around ESG, green bonds, listings. It could be around the strong listing venue we have out of Stockholm on equity listings. But it could also be in other areas like alternative data, macro data that we want to grow in.
All right, top 3 ambitions for 2020.
Yeah, so top 3 is make sure that our leading position around ESG, sustainable bond, we take that into Europe. I want to make sure we are the leading fixed income bond exchange when it comes to sustainable bonds. So number 1 on the sustainable bonds in Europe. The second part where I want to make sure we are even more visible and do even better, we have done fantastic around listings in Stockholm. We should take our strong listing venue around equities and make sure we tell our story even better and become number 1 in Europe from a listing point of view. We have a strong position already today. So I think that's one of the key parts. And the third one is actually we have a clearinghouse in Stockholm, a strong clearinghouse. Many exchanges would die to have a clearinghouse. We have that. I think actually we could start take our clearing offering from the Nordics into Europe in certain areas, fixed income, equities, but could be other products. So that is our third priority.
All right, now approaching the end of yet another decade, from a markets perspective, from a Nasdaq perspective, how would you summarize the last 10 years?
So Nasdaq has done fantastic. So Nasdaq acquired OMX a little bit more than 10 years ago. So it has been a great journey combining the skill sets from the Nordics versus what we have in US, the tech pieces that US had, but also combined with the strong tech presence we have had for many years on OMX. So Nasdaq is now the leading tech company providing solutions not only for financial companies, but also other type of companies. So our concept about marketplaces everywhere is so dominant. So the growth on the tech side has been very important for us, but also on the data side, we are so strong at data, gathering data, distributing data. We have been that strong around that on exchange data. Our new journey, and that's what you have seen the last couple of years, we're growing into alternative data, other type of data set. That is also one of the key parts of what you've seen from Nasdaq during the last 10 years, and also where you'll see us grow in the future.
All right, well, here's to the next 10 years and beyond. Thank you so much for joining us at Market Site. And thank you for joining me on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.